Well, there's a big performance in New York yesterday. It wasn't in Manhattan. It wasn't in Brooklyn. It was in the Bronx. And it was Donald Trump. Here he was in the Bronx.
On day one, we're going to throw out Bidenomics. They're going to replace it with Maganomics, like your hats. Maganomics. And I will give you lower taxes. We're going to cut it still lower. Remember, when I cut taxes, I gave you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, bigger than the Reagan tax cuts. And you know what? The following year, we reported massive increases in revenue. So with lower taxes, we actually took in more money because it gave incentive for people to work. Lots of reasons. But I will give you low taxes, low inflation, low interest rates, rising wages, growing incomes, and fair trade for the American worker. And we will make energy affordable again by saying, drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill.
So it was a big moment yesterday when you're looking at the former president. I mean, you can't deny this. Do you see these people? Have you ever seen a Trump rally like that? It took courage to go there. It took will to go there. The political elite, the political consultants say, don't even waste your time. This is a Democratic stronghold. 80% of them going to vote for Joe Biden anyway. Donald Trump went, and this is what you saw. People that love the country, they don't classify themselves as Republican, though, Will. They said they're open to Trump. And yesterday I tried to ask him, why is that? Why are you different? And I think it's just the simplicity of it, of the issues.
Yeah, so you weren't just there as a viewer to watch the rally. You were also there to talk to him. But before we get to that, do want to ask you a little bit about this rally because you were there. I mean, this is a district that hasn't voted Republican in 100 years since the flapper times, 1924. And then you see this crowd of people. What did it feel like to be there? Describe the people who were there, and what stood out the most to you?
It was probably the most energized I've been in a while at a rally. And the reason why, because it was comforting to see the stuff that I've been hearing across the country in the barbershop, and I talk with some of the brothers when I'm, going to the airport, and it's like, oh man, I see this support. The polling suggests that there is some support. But when you go there and you see this I cannot put this plainly enough. The faces that you see, a lot of them were from the Bronx. They tell you, oh, I'm right down the street right here. Oh, yeah, why did you decide to attend? Oh, I like Donald Trump because of this. Oh, did you vote for him? Yeah, I voted for him last time, but this time things are different. It was just this authentic presence, Will.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here thinking about you and what you said in our first hour and then what you just said to me just now. In our first hour, and I'm not suggesting you've contradicted yourself. No. I'm thinking there's a conversation to build here. In our first hour, you said you've always encouraged Republicans to go to these neighborhoods. But yet, in this hour, you're also telling us the connection with this crowd isn't to Republicans, it's to Donald Trump. And I think about that a lot, and I think about why. And the answer to me is, people could say, oh, Donald Trump, he's got some swag, or Donald Trump because he's boisterous. I don't think it's any of that stuff. I mean, I think it could be in part, so let me correct myself. I just think that Donald Trump is authentic to who he is. He is himself. Yeah. He always wears the suit. He doesn't dress for the occasion. He always talks like Donald Trump. He doesn't fake accents. He always gives the same message. He doesn't tailor it to a new crowd. You're not black if you're not vote for me, or they're going to put y'all back in chains. He tells you who he is and acts out who he is at all occasions, and I just think authenticity connects.
I think it's that, and I also think it's the will to go to. I think what yesterday proved is voters aren't going to come to you. I don't think it's too much for you to go to him. Every single group of voters, whether it is the coal miners or the truckers, politicians have to go to them. And I think what he proved yesterday is, I saw some interest. I'm going to go there to try to cultivate that relationship. Now, to your point about what is different as well, I think black folks, Hispanic folks, at their core are conservatives, like family values, lower taxes. They want less crime. But I do think there's sometimes the impression of Republicans is that they're not about the everyday people.
Yeah.
That they are, just the country club.
Right.
And I think what Donald Trump has shown is that he's reaching the forgotten men of all different communities. A lot of Black and Hispanic folks feel forgotten, just like the people in Middle America. So I asked the president, okay, now you got this interest. Do you feel like you're going to be able to change New York? This is what he had to say.
When you see all these people here today, of all different backgrounds, do you think the Republican Party can win here with other seats? The city, can you take over the city council, the mayor's office, the governor's office?
Well, I don't know about other races. I think we can win New York as a presidential candidate because I have a special relationship.
How do you take this energy on the road? Are you going to go to Atlanta?
Well, it's on the road for me. We have the largest crowds we've ever had. Look, we won the first time, and we got millions more votes the second time. In 2016, we won. We beat Hillary. In 2020, we got millions more votes. We did better in 2020. Nobody likes talking about it. We got, that's by their count. We got millions of more votes. I will say this, as good as 2016 and 2020 were, it's nothing compared to what's happening now. And you see that.
So interesting. I just caught this in the interview with him, to the conversation that we're having. I asked him, what about the other offices? Can the other Republicans can win? And he goes, I have a special connection.
Right.
And I think it's that. Remember, before Donald Trump even declared that he was going to run for president, he was a cultural icon, especially in Black America. I mean, when I went to the thrift shop when I was a kid and I could go to Highland Park, we didn't have enough money, and I found a Donald Trump tie in the thrift shop.
Yeah.
For $2, I had hit gold. And it wasn't because of his politics, it was because he was making money. Everybody wants to make it out.
Then, yeah.
It was all about the aspiration.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Donald Trump brought to the Bronx, just the aspiration.
No, you're spot on. And everybody talks about the economy. They talk about the border issues. They talk about the crime. But you guys are hitting on something that I think is under-discussed. And it is Donald Trump as a person. And it wasn't just what he said at the rally yesterday. It was also how he said it. He's an entertainer. If these people are standing outside for hours to see Donald Trump, they also want a show, and that's what he brought. And this speech yesterday was different than other ones. First of all, he went for 2 hours, and he talked about all that he did in different interesting stories.
By the way.
Yeah, about how he built this ice skating rink in Central Park and the golf course in the Bronx, and he told those stories about how he's a builder and he cares about the community. And then he did funny things too, like, should I go off teleprompter? Well, Joe Biden isn't even good on teleprompter. So he brought that element of humor to it as well, which people look forward to seeing.
And here's the reason this story is important, because will New York still vote for Joe Biden? Probably. I mean, that's what it does, to your point of how long it's been. Will an overwhelming majority of the black vote still vote for Joe Biden? Yes, but less so. It's down from 90% to 70%. The reason is to understand people out there in America that, as you point out, are often forgotten.
That's
and
right.
People did not get attention. And then when people connect with certain segments of our society, it's not all about the Upper West Side or Midtown or even Florida or California at all occasions, the ones that get attention. It's about the people that need attention. And so Alexis McAdams was there as well, because the purpose is to understand Americans. Listen to what Alexis McAdams got out of people in the Bronx.
It's been 100 years since the Bronx voted for a Republican presidential candidate. Is that going to change this year?
It absolutely will. A lot of times people take things for granted. People thought that Hillary was going to clinch the presidency in a coronation, and that didn't happen. So there's always room for surprises.
It's time for a change in leadership. We've been voting down the same party for years now, and nothing has changed. Things have gotten out of control. We're dealing with housing situations. We're dealing with homelessness, the mentally ill, crimes. There's a lot happening here. Inflation.
I've always been raised to think a certain way. And, for me to come and think Republican and think Donald Trump and say it's time to right a wrong for him, it's time to right that wrong that they're doing to him, that's coming from the heart.
New York Post editorial puts it this way: Trump will win if he does more speeches like the one in the Bronx. And the last thing I'll say about this, because I know I've been dealing with this and saying this for 10 years to go to the community. And I know that there are some naysayers, and they're going to look at you know, the voting tally, and they're going to say, well, he didn't win the black vote. Okay, he may have not won the Hispanic. To the point of Alexis' report, you don't get to abandon a community for 50 years and think there's going to be this automatic shift. That's not going to happen. I'm not even suggesting that. I'm not saying that Donald Trump is going to win the black vote. I do think he can get 30% of the black vote. And if he gets 30% of the black vote, it's game over for the Democrats. I think these silos that have once existed, they're being destroyed just by the effort of going there saying, you matter. I understand. He's not promising anything special to Black America. He's saying, I know you can. I know you've been forgotten. I know they don't care about you. I do.
I care about your problems.
And I got your back.
Yeah. Yeah, and also not just forgetting about the black community or not doing anything about it. When addressing the black community, like President Biden did at Morehouse College, it's victimhood all day long.
Yeah.
It's victimhood, identity politics. When Donald Trump spoke to the people in the Bronx yesterday, he said, I don't care about your skin tone. I don't care what color you are. Nobody deserves streets like this. Nobody deserves subway systems like this. I care about your problems and I want to fix them.
And I'm going to leave it here. But if you were a human being or a community at large and you were trying to gauge someone's interest or connection to you, what would resonate more? Someone who takes your vote for granted to the extent that if you do not vote for them, says you're not truly of that community.
Yeah.
If you don't vote for me, you're not black.
Yeah.
Panders and doesn't deliver on promises and scares you about the other side.
Yeah.
Or someone who says, I may not get but 20 to 30% of your vote, but I'm here.
Not only scares you, but says you can't. You can't. On the highest day of achievement, you can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.